Sony, a leading tech giant in the heart of Tokyo, mass-producing equipment from semiconductors to biotechnology, from TVs to self-driving cars. But before we can see what Sony is achieving in the modern world, let's first see how they began. In 1946, Sony was founded by two key figures, Masaru Ibuka and Akio Morita, known for creating varying forms of technology, such as the Walkman, which had representatives' pockets altered in order for it to be marketed as a product that fits flawlessly in people's pockets. Sony began with expansions and buying out of entertainment companies, such as Columbia Pictures. In 1994, Sony launched its console series known as the PlayStation. As Sony continued to expand, it realized it needed to alter what the company stood as. Rather than just a holding company, it began to operate and run multiple departments for end users. Sony itself took a more holistic view to incorporate its very own financial, biotechnological, and mobility sectors, which we'll touch on later throughout the video. As the Sony Corporation began being established, so too did it make massive leaps. Technology was a key business model, mass-producing state-of-the-art cameras, premium TVs, and the like. Masaru Ibuka, a co-founder of Sony, started as many startup companies begin, in a small shop, more specifically an electronics store, with only 190,000 yen in his pocket, equating to $1,273 at the time of this video. Ibuka was not alone. He was accompanied with 8 employees producing one of the first products, the rice cooker. With the recession having occurred in the 1980s, causing major price fluctuations throughout the economy, profits began to decline, with many news outlets calling for the end of Sony due to the destabilization taking place. Throughout the chaos, the president of Sony at the time, Norio Oga, sought to revitalize the company by expanding into alternative sectors, through production of CDs, consoles, and acquisitions of media companies such as CBS Records. These steps were taken in order to receive revenue from alternative streams and regain profits, yet to no avail, as Sony continued through a downward spiral of economic decline. Eventually a new CEO was elected, a CEO by the name of Howard Stinger, the first foreigner to take hold of a Japanese company. The CEO took severe actions to save Sony, such as producing predominant films, like Spider-Man, which served to be a cult classic among communities. He also began disposing of 9,000 jobs, leading to mass layoffs. Stinger sought to build communication between departments for a more coalesced Sony. Although this slowed tensions, the company still struggled through the 2000s, in turn having a new CEO elected, a CEO by the name of Kazuro Hirai. Kazuro Hirai focused on a unified Sony, in line with Howard Stinger's ideals, this time proving to be more successful, focusing Sony back on digital products. Hirai succeeded where Stinger failed due to the surpassing of language barriers. With this push for Sony's digital sector came great innovation, such as state-of-the-art visual displays, audio recording, Blu-ray discs, and eventually full-fledged focus on the video game industry. As the PlayStation released in 1994, it was one of the first pioneers of 3D graphics. The original PlayStation would have incorporated a cross-platform software in which Nintendo-related content could be run on, if it weren't for Nintendo backing out of a deal due to financial disagreements regarding network licensing. Sony began delving into concepts regarding electric vehicles and lithium-ion batteries in 2014, hoping to make a presence in the EV market. Sony produced electric chargers within parking lots and began investing heavily in the EV market by $842,000, causing speculation of the possibility of self-driving cars. Sony then proceeded to unveil its first electric car concept, the Afeela, launching a joint venture with Honda, a well-established car manufacturer known worldwide for its quality. This model is planned to be launched by 2026. The Afeela contains a media bar in front of the hood of the vehicle, which can be programmed to showcase all forms of lights, text, and imaging, including the Spider-Man logo. The Afeela contains 45 cameras surrounding the vehicle, ensuring pedestrian and passenger safety by locating outside objects and citizens. The car is set to have a self-driving feature, as well as incorporating the Unreal Engine. This is so that movies, games, and other media can be made use of while on the go. Sony has partnered with Polyphony to achieve this, which is the main developer of the Gran Turismo racing series. A premium feature that the Afeela will make use of is LiDAR, technology which is akin to how bats use sonar detection. However, the distinguishing factor is that instead of sound, LiDAR makes use of light reflections bouncing off of nearby objects. Another futuristic appeal of the vehicle is the incorporation of door mechanics, in which there are 3 modes to open its doors, either through recognition using cameras, a touch button, or smartphone registration for a more manual approach. The incorporated screen is able to be subdivided so that multiple media outlets can be utilized, such as watching films while keeping track of cameras and mapping surrounding areas. Through innovation, Sony is able to build on a more archaic product of the past. Screens at the back of the seats for passenger entertainment. Among the positives, there are bound to be some negatives, including a possibility of insufficient legroom, marketing it to be a compact car, as well as the steep price point of $100,000. Whether the price will be reduced is yet to be known. Sony's diverse nature, they began producing camera products, most notably Sony Alpha, alongside their robot series. Many financial difficulties took place. Sony had announced disappointing sales and discontinued certain robotics products, especially regarding the iBo and Rolly. Mobility tech was revitalized in 2016 with drones, incorporating the Alpha camera for further navigation. Although past performance of Sony robotics has been disappointing, it has not dismissed concepts entirely. As research and development has continued, products were produced providing benefits, more specifically for the disabled. Such robots were designed to replace wheelchairs, incorporating a bipedal system that is able to traverse roughened terrain, like stairs, while transforming into a wheel mode for navigating flat surfaces. One of the challenges the team is ought to tackle would be potential obstacles on navigating paths, such as terrain that would otherwise cause the robot to tip over. The team, taking note of this, began testing sensors in order for steps to be taken with more accuracy. As you might have guessed, Sony has been at the forefront of technology for some time, with all sorts of tech on the way. Among these are developments for all sorts of areas, such as for doctors and surgeons. Sony had unveiled the microsurgery robot announced in 2024 by demonstrating surgical precision on corn kernels. This form of tech has been deemed to focus on surgical elements such as sewing damaged skin tissue, which has been to be proven successful through animal testing. Although not fully autonomous, this form of tech reduces the need for surgical hand coordination, which would otherwise be required for mainstream surgeons. The mechanism comes with a 4K OLED display, which provides a clear vision for those that are operating the machinery. Although testing is still taking place, among the challenges the R&D department must tackle is the delay the robot exerts, even as there is false motion. This factor may cause the process to be unnecessarily more difficult for those operating the machinery. Another offshoot of Sony is the biotechnology department, which can analyze characteristics of cells such as the absence of proteins, cell size, and other factors, labeled as cytology. This in turn is able to diagnose cancer cells to prevent and remove further abnormalities from taking place through diagnostic data. Among the more exciting projects that are being developed is Sony's very own crystal LED approach, which has been designed to be mounted on all sorts of surfaces. With unlimited scalability, these displays are being produced with little to no framing panels around its borders, not only giving it a futuristic appeal, but also one of sound quality for both personal and commercial use. Sony is predominantly owned by major banks and trusts such as Citibank and the Master Trust Bank of Japan. Sony valuations soared throughout the dot-com bubble, profiting exponentially. For more information on this, feel free to watch our latest video found in the description box below. Following the boom, the company suffered through major metrics, whereby the CEO at the time, Kaz Hirai, had begun investing heavily in marketing, especially to regain investor confidence. Through enticing consumers to purchase Sony products, as well as having to take drastic measures such as further cutting of jobs. Sony has been taking part in multiple charity organizations with varying initiatives, such as the South African Mobile Library Project, donating of children's books, and financing alternative projects to broaden youth education. In a bite-sized summary, Sony has had a deep track record of innovation and is paving the way for a more modernized future. By expanding borders of all departments across varying sectors, one of the main initiatives that Sony is focusing on is their media sectors, more predominantly the subscription services, as well as the metaverse, including virtual and augmented reality, setting the future of Sony to be an exciting one, filled with all forms of development. If this video has been informative, or you have any personal opinions, please feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay informed of future videos.